bit right? That's okay, isn't it? Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel, True Crime with Jess Rose. How are you all? This is a live, so if you do see me nattering to people, obviously you're not going to see it tomorrow, the people talking to me, but I'm not talking to myself, I'm not crazy. So I'm just going to wait for a few people to join, hopefully, and then we'll start. We will start then. Obviously, it's the devastating Aniya Day-Garrett story. Horrible, horrible, horrible case. Such a shame. Hi, Kelly. How you doing? Hey, sis. How we doing? How are we? Are you prepared for this one? Are you prepared? I hope you are. I hope you're prepared for this one because it's so... Ooh. How you feeling, Tiff? I know, Kelly, Tiff's been a bit poorly. So how you been doing? Mum says you're a bit bad. But hi Ariane, how you doing? How are you? Hope everyone's okay. Just wait for a few more to join and then we'll get started. I'm gonna destroy your Thursday night again, as I do. If you're watching tomorrow, you could possibly forward maybe a minute or so. Hi Phil, happy Jess Rose Day! Yay! Here we go. Oh, I'm glad you're feeling better, sis. I'm glad you're feeling better. Yeah, happy Jess Rose Day. It's Thursday. We're here again. Got a awful one for you tonight. I really have. It is a child, so there's that trigger warning. I'm gonna give it you once, not giving it you again. Just gonna let you know. Yeah, this one I've actually I've watched the interrogations, I've watched the trial. It was just horrible. I know this week, Ariane, this week's gone so quick. Hi Warwick, yes, you've caught us, you caught me. How you doing? I was just saying it, yeah, as Tiffany's just put up, it's taken away, Tiff. I don't know why. But it is a child. Yeah, it is a child. It's a awful story. I don't know if you know this one, but it's just horrific. It really is. When I started watching the interrogation of this story, I didn't actually know what I was watching, I'll be honest, because the interrogation it didn't give like a heads up in any way. So I've started watching, I'm like, what are they talking about? Oh God. And then once it started, it escalated, I carried on watching. I was like, oh my God. So now you have to share it. You have to share it with me. So yes, if you're watching tomorrow, we're going to start now. And it's the devastating Aniya Day-Garrett story. Okay. So are you all ready? Let's start. Okay. I've made 1,000 notes on this story. You wouldn't even want to see what's in front of me. So if I start getting a little bit, please bear with me. Okay. So, oh God. Right, you ready for me to destroy your evening? I hope you all are. Okay. Yes, so Aniya Marie Day-Garrett was born on the 2nd of September 2013. And she was born in a place called Euclid, and it's in Cleveland, Ohio. So it's an American one. Her mom was Sierra Day, and her dad was Michael Garrett. Now, Sierra and Michael met in high school, and in their last year of high school. So I think they're about 18. America, they're there later, aren't they? Michael is a kind of a wannabe rapper at the time. I think he is actually a rapper now, but he said, don't see him in that way. He says that, and he seems like a great guy. He really does. Sierra, well, yeah, Sierra. What can I say about Sierra? I don't want to say anything about Sierra, I'm going to be honest here, but she's an Aniya's mum. Loosely, let's just say that. Okay. So, Sierra and Michael They started dating, like I say, she ended up catching for Aniya. They continue to see each other after Aniya's born, and Aniya is a daddy's girl. And you see the pictures of this little girl. Oh, she's just the cutest little thing, big chubby cheeks and big brown eyes, just a beautiful looking little girl. She said she was very clever, very sweet, really outgoing, just a beautiful little girl. I've seen so many photos of her, and she's just adorable. Okay, but when Aniya turned 3, Michael and Sierra ended up breaking up. It was said that he'd kind of started to distance himself a little bit from when Aniya was about 18 months. But the official breakup, it said, wasn't till she was about 3. And that was in the November, I believe, of 2016. They officially broke up. Okay. So around 2016, Aniya's nursery that she was sent to. Now, Sierra, Aniya's mum, she worked at a nursery called Ready, Set, Grow. But Ready, Set, Grow didn't, or they stopped having infants, like very small babies in their nursery. They didn't have the insurance. There was some reason, but they stopped having them in the nursery. So Aniya was actually brought into a nursery called Harbour Crest, and she was there, and they loved her. Like I say, she's an adorable little girl. But in about 2016, they started to notice bruises on Aniya. And the one day she'd come in and she had like a graze on her face. It looked like a carpet burn. And they, because they're, what is it called when you have to mandate reporter, aren't you? You're a mandated reporter. So they report this, and in Ohio, their children's services is called CCCFS. So I'm going to say triple CFS because otherwise it's just going to... So they got in touch with them. Now, the thing with Sierra, she kept her house very, very clean, really clean, like beyond clean. It's one thing she did do. So treble CFS, they found the unsubstantiated. You're going to hear that word a lot. So, and it was on a very regular basis, like every couple of days, Aniya was coming in with a black eye or bruises, or the one day she came in and her head was swollen and she had bleeding coming from her ear. I think we know that's a very, very, very red flag. Obviously, Sierra had been saying she's clumsy, she fell over, she did this, she had excuses for everything. But this one, they actually phoned 911 for. And again, treble CFS are reported, and again, it's unsubstantiated. It's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. So in 2017 now, Sierra, after that last report had gone through to the police and it's not DCFS. I've heard it called DCFS. I wish it was easier to say, but treble CFS. There's the child services. I'm going to say child services. Okay, after that last one, she removes Aniya from Harbour Crest, that nursery, and she brings her into the nursery she works at, which is Ready, Set, Grow, because Aniya's now 3, so they can take her in. So she moves her out of that nursery. Okay. So that's where we are at the moment. Now, Michael himself, you might be thinking, well, hang on a minute, is he not seeing these bruises? Well, yeah, Michael does see the bruises. And when he picks it, he tries to see her every weekend after the breakup, tries to see her every weekend. But sometimes he would. But when he'd see her, she'd have bruises on her. And he'd ask her, look, where have these come from? And he found that she was a bit more she was becoming a little bit more introverted, Aniya was. And like I say, she was quite outspoken, she was quite loud. She was becoming a bit quieter, and she wouldn't say where, where these were coming from. But what she had done with Harbour Crest Nursery, she had said, Mummy did it. She did say it was out of her own mouth, but she didn't tell her dad that. That I haven't found anywhere that she actually openly told him, but she did tell the nursery. So he's so annoyed. Michael is. He's fuming. So in September 2017 now, he sees bruises and rotting loose teeth in his daughter's mouth. Rotting loose teeth. So he's fuming. He's had enough, and and Aniya actually then told him, Mummy pushed me up some stairs, not down, but up some stairs. So he's had enough, Michael has. So now he files a police report and reports to Child Services. So do you want to know what Sierra does? Oh, in October 2017, so this was September 2017, he reports her. In October, she files a restraining order against him and says that he's stalking her and Aniya, and he won't leave them alone. Marvellous, isn't it? And once again, Child Services, it's unsubstantiated. Sierra, I've watched this woman's interrogation, and she's very convincing. Really convincing. That's what I'm saying at the beginning of it. I didn't know what I was watching, because she was very convincing at first. Okay. So that was October 2017. Now, just before then, in the July of 2017, Sierra meets a man called Deontay Lewis. And I bet I can see all the red flags going up now. But as I've said, a lot of these injuries were before Deontay. It was after her and Michael had finished. It was happening before she met Deontay. Okay. So she meets him, and Deontay is a lad. She'd known him for quite a long time, and he'd met Aniya, but this is well before well before the I'm so sorry, that's caught my eye there. Yeah, she'd known him beforehand. He'd known Aniya, but this is before they started seeing each other. But they officially started going out in the July of 2017. So we've got the restraining order we've got the report in September of 2017. This is from Michael. And then October 2017, now she's put a restraining order against Michael. And now she's thinking, this is Sierra I'm talking about, her, Aniya, and Deontay can just live happy ever after. Can they? Really? Okay. So we're coming up to February 2018 now. Okay. And Sierra's, she's had a falling out with her sister, but she's still in touch with her brother. She's got a couple of brothers and she's got a sister. I don't know any of their names. I haven't been able to find their names. But it said that her brother came round to see Sierra and Aniya, sorry. And have I been saying Aniya? Please tell me have I been saying Aniya this whole time? Please tell me I've been saying Aniya. Have I been saying Aniya? Oh, God. Oh, have I not? Have I been saying... Okay, all right, okay. Her name's Aniya. Please tell me I haven't been saying Aniya this whole time. Aniya, okay? Oh, that's completely... Right, okay, we're just going to carry on. Aniya. Right. Thank you. I just said Aniya then. I thought, oh, God, have I been saying that the whole time? Okay, so Sierra tells her brother Aniya can't walk. Just says she can't walk. So Sierra's brother goes in to Aniya's bedroom, and Aniya's in there, and it says he said she was very quiet, But she was talking, she was sat up. And that was it. And he left. I found that really bizarre, really, really odd. That could you imagine going in to visit your niece and your sister told you she can't walk, and you go in there and you just go, yeah, she's fine, and go on about your business? I don't know if that's true. That again is what's been said. That's what I've found. I find it so odd. That's why I'm questioning it. Is it true? But everything I found, that's what happened. Okay. So that was in February 2018. Okay. Now we go to, okay. So now we get to March 2018. All right. Michael, remember, she's had a restraining order against him. He applies for custody of Aniya. And the children's services set a date that they'll come round and see where he lives and check everything out, you know. But they set the date for March the 12th of 2018, okay? But on March the 11th, oh, I'm sorry, I'm going to ruin it for you all now. March the 11th of 2018, there's a 911 call put through, and I have heard the call. I've heard it. And it takes about 3 minutes during the phone call. Deontay's on first. Do you remember the new boyfriend? He's on first. And he goes, my daughter. He actually says it's his daughter, but, you know, people have said it's maybe to make it sound more serious or to get it done quick. But I find that a bit hard because it takes 3 minutes of the phone call where Deontay switches with Sierra for them to say that she's not breathing, Aniya's not breathing. It takes them 3 minutes in a phone call. And during the phone call, you can actually hear the operator like, well, is she breathing? Well, yeah, she's kind of. Is she? But we're giving her CPR. Well, don't give her CPR if she's breathing. Is she sat up? Is she communicating? This goes on for 3 minutes before Sierra finally says, no, she's not breathing. It's the most frustrating phone call you've ever heard of. It genuinely is. So then the operator's going through CPR with them and she's counting them through. There's no crying, fake or real. There's no hysterics. It's very calm. It's very matter of fact. Like I say, it took them 3 minutes to even admit that that she wasn't breathing. So very frustrating phone call to listen to. So when the paramedics turn up, they can't get into the building. And the operator on the phone was saying, make sure the door's open, make sure, you know, they can get in. And it said that it took the paramedics ages to get in that building and for them to answer the door. But eventually, I think it's Deontay answers the door. And when they get in there, the paramedics say straight away what hits them is the smell of bleach. It's not a good sign. Although I did say that it was said she kept her home very, very clean, but it was an overpowering smell of bleach. And also the apartment was freezing. Now in Cleveland, Ohio, in March, when I checked the date, and it says that at that time of year, around that time, it was about freezing. It was like 0 degrees, and they've got the air conditioning on full, so the apartment's freezing. And as the paramedics get further into the apartment, they come to the living room, and there's Aniya lying directly under the air conditioning unit. So she's directly under it. So when the paramedics get to her, she's freezing. She's freezing. She's unresponsive. And yeah, they take her away. So the paramedics, what they did notice about Aniya is that she was very, very, very thin, really thin. They said they noticed her ribs They noticed her knuckles. They noticed her skin seemed quite loose. So they've took Aniya away. But judging on what they'd seen, it didn't look good. So when they took her away, the police came, and the police brought Sierra and Deontay in for questioning. It was just questioning at that time. It was just questioning. But the paramedics were like, something about this, it's not right. Look at this child. Then when she was brought in, don't forget the paramedics are panicking and everything else. When they're brought in, there's a massive gash over her eye, on her head. They start to notice more and more injuries to her. Oh God, I just hate this. I hate it. So yeah, they start to notice more and more injuries to Aniya. So they bring Sierra and Deontay in, like I say, and these are the interrogations I've watched. And at the beginning of both their interrogations, their course of events are these. On the Thursday, so this was March the 11th, 2018. This was a Sunday, okay? So they're saying on the Thursday, which would have been, what the 7th, 8th, 9th, 10th, 8th? I think the 8th. On the Thursday, they'd been to Red Lobster. I don't know where Red Lobster is. It's obviously a restaurant there. They'd been to Red Lobster. Aniya had only eaten bits, but when they got home, she'd started vomiting. Okay, this is both of them. I've watched both interrogations. She'd started vomiting. Okay, they tried to bathe her, and the interrogator mentions that they'd noticed at the hospital that Aniya had what looked like severe burning going down from her knees down to her feet. Look, they thought it was rug burns at first, and it was this burning, but they couldn't tell what it was from. So they're asking Sierra and Deontay, what are these burns on her legs? And they both say, oh, it's baby lotion. It was baby lotion. She had a reaction to it. We give her a bath when she got back, when she'd been sick. See how fast I'm talking? We'd give her this bath when she got back, and we put lotion in the bath, and all of a sudden she reacted to it. Okay, all right, yeah. But they're sticking to it. They're sticking to it. That's what these burns are. Okay, what's the gash on her head? Wow. She wasn't walking very well, but she went to the toilet, and while she was in there, we heard this massive bang. So we ran in there, and there she was on the floor, and she banged her head off the bath. Right, okay. Well, how can you explain that the bath was on her? I think the gash was on her left side, and the bath's on the right. And they were like, how do you explain? How could she have fell off the toilet and banged the left side of her head off the bath? How does that happen? Oh, well, when we found her, she was facing the other way. It was so frustrating to watch this interview, because it's like, oh my God. And they're so convinced of what they're saying, and convinced of what they're putting across. That's exactly what they're doing. So the police are like, right, okay. And during this interrogation, bear in mind, Aniya's gone to the hospital. Neither one of them have asked about her. Neither one up to that point. And then the interrogator actually says to Sierra, you know, I'm surprised you haven't asked about Aniya. And that's all she got out of her mouth, when all of a sudden Sierra jumps in. Well, yeah, you're not giving me a chance to speak. You haven't given me a chance to speak. So I didn't know. But how is she? I want to know how my daughter is. She hadn't cared. She hadn't asked. There'd been an hour worth of an interrogation. She hadn't even asked. Do you know why she didn't ask about Aniya? Do you want to know why? Because she already knew. And remember when I said the paramedics had got there and they said she was under the air conditioning? And she'd felt very, very cold, obviously. Well, it wasn't that she was cold. She was already going through rigor mortis. This child was already dead. And they tried to put her under the air conditioning to make it appear that she was just cold from the air conditioning. Right. Okay. So, Aniya she'd actually passed, like I said, before she'd even left that apartment. And the cause of death was officially, it was a series of strokes from blunt force trauma to her head. And these strokes and this blunt force trauma had happened from 2 weeks up to 3 months before she died. Do you remember I said she told people that Aniya couldn't walk? Remember I said that? She couldn't walk. And her brother had come round and seen Aniya in bed because she couldn't walk. She was having strokes from the beating she was getting to her head. And do you remember I said that she had a gash over her head? She also had a black eye. This is what they were finding when they brought her in. Which means that this child who couldn't walk anymore, from blunt force trauma to her head, up to 3 months before this, she was still being beaten in her bed. She was 4 years old. Okay. So that was her cause of death. Now, when the medical examiner was going through all Aniya's injuries, like I say, she was very, very thin. Do you want to know what this 4-year-old weighed? She weighed 26 pounds. 26 pounds. My son weighed more than that before he turned 1. He was a big boy. He was a big boy, but 26 pounds. And it was said she was in the bottom 3 percentile of children her age. Her skin was obviously loose from the loss of fat and the loss of muscle tissue underneath her skin. So in the interrogation, you do see them asking about her behind, and apparently her behind was very loose, and they were like, oh, it's from the bath, oh, it's from the lotion, oh, it's from this. Her BMI was 11. Children at the age of 4 are normally around 18. I find that quite high, but it's what it says. Like I say, she also had the black eye. She had blisters on her head. She had bed sores because she'd been in bed because she couldn't walk. She'd been in bed at least a month. At least. It could have been up to 3. And her lungs were collapsing at that point. She also had pancreatitis from the lack of food. And she had stomach ulcers, and the pancreas, oh God, it was actually digesting itself. This is what this girl was living through. And through all of that, can you imagine the pain that she was in? So obviously she wasn't eating. She was starving. She wasn't being fed and it was said that she wouldn't have been able to eat because of the strokes had caused her and what was going on inside of her. She wouldn't have even been able to digest food. So they were just leaving her to start. Her pancreas was eating itself. Okay. Sorry. I told you what I was going to do, didn't I? So basically, Aniya was just left to starve in her bed from her strokes and die. That was it. When they were in the apartment, they actually found in the microwave a Chipotle. I've never eaten there. I don't know if we've got it. I've heard of the place. But they found that from the day before. So they'd actually gotten themselves so much food that they couldn't eat it all. So they'd saved it for the next day. Marvellous. Now you've got Deontay. Now don't forget, he didn't actually start going out with Sierra until the July. And it has been said that he didn't put a hand on Aniya. And in his interview, in his interrogation, he stands firm throughout the whole thing. He's like, look, I'd see bruises on her, I'd see marks on her, but Sierra just told me she fell over, she's very clumsy, then her legs weren't working, and I was asking about it, and it was 8 months he was with her. I mean, 8 months, and you didn't think, hang on a minute, there's something really wrong here. But he continues this all the way through, and he lies. He obviously lies because he you know, he's claiming we went to the Red Lobster incident. Remember I said we went to Red Lobster and then she was poorly, and the interrogator actually says, so if we pull up the CCTV from Red Lobster, we're going to see yous there on Thursday. And he'd been going, yeah, I was there with my brother and I was there with my sister and my grandma was there, and it was all a lie. That part of the interrogation went on for about half an hour. There was no Red Lobster. They didn't go anywhere. They didn't go to Red Lobster. She wasn't sick from Red Lobster. She was in her bed, wasting away. She's 4 years old. And her dad was that close. He had the child services meeting on the 12th of March. And this happened on the 11th. Sierra, unlike Deontay, she stuck to her guns for a certain amount of time, you know, And then all of a sudden, well, maybe it was Deontay. Oh, she tries to blame him. She does. She's a vile girl. She's a vile young girl. At this point, she's 24 years of age, and she's just rotten to the core. You know, they tried to make excuses that she's got cognitive difficulties and she doesn't know. Wouldn't have known that her daughter needed to go and see a doctor. She wouldn't have known that. Stop it now. I can't even talk about that because I can't even go into that because it's terrible. It doesn't make any sense. It's just that defense does not work. So they're both charged, and I will tell you what they were charged with. The burns on the letter. I told you I've made so many notes. I'm going backwards and forwards, and I want to make sure I get it. Okay, so I said the cause of death was the series of strokes from blunt force trauma to her head, which it was. Do you remember I mentioned the burns on Aniya's legs? Do you remember I mentioned that? Of course, it wasn't from the lotion. Do you remember they said, it's from the Johnson & Johnson. They actually called out Johnson. Oh, it's Johnson & Johnson lotion. No, it wasn't. It was because she'd been left to lie in the bed for so long, just wetting herself. So it was urine. It was said it was urine on the bottoms of her legs. And then there was something that Sierra had said. She goes, well, I did put her in the shower and I put really, really, really cold water on her. Really cold water. And so it said it could have been also burn, you know, like a frostbite type cold burn. So I said it could have been that as well, but it was more than likely the urine from her having to lie in it. But, I mean, they say 2 weeks to 3 months. How long was this child in the bed? I mean, her brother came around in February 2018, so we know that was a month. That's a month. So how long was this child in bed when she stopped being able to walk? Oh, God. She was literally just left to starve and die in that bed while they're eating Chipotle in the living room. Ridiculous. Okay, so they're both charged with aggravated murder, felonious assault, permitting child abuse. Obviously, Deontay, we believe, you know, they're both blaming each other. 3 counts of endangering children and tampering with evidence. I presume that is from moving her from the bed to under the air conditioning. Like I say, she did try to blame him, but there was so much proof that this abuse was going on. Long before she started seeing him, she started hurting this child. And she told people, she'd said, Mommy's hurting me. She'd actually told people they'd got in touch with child. They'd done what they were supposed to do. And child services, it was said because her house was clean. Her house was clean. They didn't speak to Aniya. They didn't ask her. But because her house was clean, you know, okay, some cases that are do, they walk in and the house is a dive and a hole. I get that. But what, because the house is clean, she can't be hitting her child. But that was the excuse given. Okay. So, at the trial now, her sister did get up on the stand. And do you remember I said she'd had a bit of a falling out with her sister, and that's why her sister had sent one of the brothers round, just to see if Aniya was okay. And the reason she'd done that is her sister had seen things too. Her sister had seen bruises on Aniya and blisters on her head. And there is a photo, and it's heartbreaking to see, okay? You've got all these photos of this very healthy looking, chubby cheeked, beautiful little girl. Yeah, you have. For the majority of it, there's videos. There's a video of her with her dad, and her dad's going, "Hey, mummy," or "Mama, do you want to stay with daddy?" It's just a beautiful moment in the car between the two of them, and you can see he dotes on her. You can see she dotes on him, and he's like, "Do you want to stay with daddy?" And she's like, "Yeah." It's the cutest thing. And then you see another photo of Aniya, and I think it was the nursery that took it. And it looks like, it doesn't even look like her. It doesn't even look like the same girl in the photos of the video. And she's got no hair here, and just bruises all round her head here. Something round her neck. And in one of the photos that you see her like that, she's kind of like looking up at the camera. But there's another photo where it must be taken at another time where she's bruised up. And I don't know if she was whipping out her hair. I don't know what she was doing to her. But there's bruises, and she's got a black eye. And she's just staring at Aniya. She's not looking at the camera. She's just looking at nothing. Her face is really gaunt, and it's the most heartbreaking picture I've ever seen when you look at the earlier photos and you see the video with her dad. And you're talking, what, a year time frame in these? I mean, don't forget, her dad, the last time her dad's seen her was September 2017. He'd already seen bruises on her and everything else. But this is sort of like 6 months later. And this photo of her is just haunting. It just, if you do want it, you know, I wouldn't recommend going to have a look at it, but if you do go and have a look, you'll see yourself, is that the same child? Because she just looks, it is, but she just looks so different. I think the family around and the nursery, everyone tried to help, and then she just cut them all off, didn't she? So her sister said, like I say, she'd started to see bruises on her, and she started to notice Aniya was getting more standoffish. She was getting quieter. Her sister was tying it into when she'd met Deontay. I don't know whether she didn't realise, or maybe the fobbing off before Deontay, because we know it was going on before then. Maybe she'd managed to fob her off enough. Oh, she's fell over. Oh, she's tripped up. She's a very clumsy child. This, that, and the other. So what she'd noticed is then to discipline Aniya, Sierra drag her off and take her into another room. And a couple of times Aniya had come out crying and, you know, quite upset and everything, and very quiet and introverted. And then this one time she came out, and her nose was bloody. So she's beating her child in another room. And Sierra had spoke up. No, not Sierra, sorry. Her sister had spoke up. But the falling out, we don't know. Was it over this? It's not said it was. And the sister in trial hasn't said it. And Sierra didn't say it. Just the time frame suggests to me it's got to have something to do with it. It's got to have something to do with this. So, as I said, yeah, she'd become standoffish. She'd been quiet. She'd noticed she was looking very thin, but she thought it was because she was getting older and she was getting taller. Okay. She said that she never saw Deontay touch Aniya ever and Deontay was always there when Sierra was there and when Aniya was there. So she never saw him do or say anything to Aniya whatsoever. But she was worried enough that she too called child services. I don't know if you've been counting, but we're up to 6. We're up to 6 calls to child services now, saying this child is in danger. She's thin, she's bruised, she's bleeding. The nursery had said that she'd come in, her head was swollen, she had bleeding in the ear. She had bruises. There was what looked like rug burns on her, carpet burns on her. She'd openly said, Aniya had, my mummy did this, mummy's hurt me. And they still did nothing. Okay, so she calls CCCFS. And she also tells Aniya's dad, she tells Michael, look, this is what's going on. I can't see her anymore. She's not letting me see her. Child services go round again. It's unsubstantiated. What does that even mean? What, her bruises have cleared up when you got... I don't know. She was bruised so often. You can't tell me they went round there and didn't say anything. But because her house was clean, it was okay. You can beat your kids as long as you clean your house. Is that what we're saying here? And so, yeah, so claims are unsubstantiated. And like I say, Michael was supposed to meet with child services on March the 12th. So he last seen Aniya in September of 2017. That was the last time he got to see her. Because she got the restraining order out against him. You know, I've seen him in the trial. Her dad, Michael Garrett, and he just, it's heartbreaking. It's heartbreaking to watch. He comes up and makes a victim statement, as they do, and it's absolutely heartbreaking to watch. He breaks down. He's just devastated. So the jury, I said they got charged. So the jury, it only takes them less than a day to deliberate on these two. They were both up in court together. And it takes less than a day, and they are found guilty, both of them. Thank God. Deontay got 20 years. 20 years he got. He was in this relationship 8 months. His mum's devastated, apparently. He was only 27. He's not dead. He's only 27. Apparently his mum's devastated because he just started seeing this woman. And then you've got Sierra. She also guilty, life without parole. That's why, you know, if that was here, who knows? But she got life without parole. Sierra did, quite rightly. It was said, like I say, Deontay didn't, for what we know and what's been proven and the trial, it said that he never laid a hand on Aniya. But he would have seen what was going on with her. He would have seen, I mean, I even tried to benefit of the doubt it, right, okay? I tried to benefit of the doubt, like, you know when I said she was on the toilet and there was a bang and they'd come out and they'd found her on the floor. At first I was thinking, well, maybe it was Sierra. She'd gone in and done something to her, and then he came in from another room and she's convincing him that Aniya just fell off the toilet. It didn't happen. She'd been in her bed for months. How can you watch a child wither away? Look, wither away to bone, and still continue to get bruises. She's not walking. So where's the clumsiness argument now? Where was the clumsiness argument? If that's what she'd been saying to him, how does that count now? She's not even getting out of bed. So where's the clumsiness argument in all of this? So I just have no sympathy for him. I just don't. None. You know, which she could have lied through her teeth to him, but his eyes wouldn't have lied to him. He would have seen it. And it's like they always say, if you see something, you must say something. Now, I don't care how much he felt. You know, how much could you love somebody after 8 months that you're willing to watch her murder her child? She murdered her child. You know, the defense tried to say, well, she didn't actually mean to, and she didn't know she was supposed to get help for Aniya. She was doing what she thought she could. Where are the bruises coming from, people? Where were they coming from? She was found with a massive gash on her head, which means that went on while she's in the bed dying. It was said that it was rigor mortis when they got you know, she'd gone into rigor mortis when the paramedics turned up. And it said that doesn't come in for 2 to 6 hours. So what, had they been cleaning before they got there? Had she been in the bedroom, they just happened to go in and find her dead? Did she die on her own? Oh, just, horrible. Child Services themselves, this treble CFS, stupid name anyway. They awarded Michael $3 million because he'd filed a failure to protect against them, because they'd received 6 reports in the 13 months leading to her death. 6 reports. 6. All unsubstantiated, apparently. Even with the photos. Did they talk to Aniya? And the caseworker who'd been supposedly looking after Aniya, she was fired. I would think so. You can see that there was a lot of protest, and they'd done like an overnight protest outside the court, not the courthouse, sorry, the Child Services Department. They'd done like a sitting, like from, I think it was 9 o'clock in the night till 9 o'clock in the morning, to protest for, you know, for change to the Child Services Department. You know, this is Ohio, but we've seen it in California so many times. I've done so many cases. I think Maine's got, you know, a really bad reputation, their child services, and we can't talk in the UK. You know, Star Hobson, Arthur Lavinia Hughes, it just goes on. I don't get it. I don't get it. And we can, you know, I know they're put in place to protect these children, and that is their job. That's their sole role, is to protect children. But I think we, as much as blame, and it's well deserved, she deserved to get fired, they deserve to pay, he deserves to be paid that money and everything else. I don't think it was about the money, it was about highlighting it. He did not seem that type at all from what I could see on there. I think it was to highlight what had gone wrong. But I've completely lost my thought there. Yeah, I don't think it was nothing to do with that. I think it was just to highlight what had gone wrong. That's what I meant to say. Even with these people in place who are supposed to look after the children, it's still the parent. You know, I know a lot of blame goes towards the social service and everything else, and I've said it again, quite rightly so. But I think sometimes it gets lost that there was a mum who gave birth to that child, and she wasn't on her own. She had a massive massive support network, huge support network out there. You know, parents, grandparents, there was uncles, aunts. She had the help if she needed it. And she just kept beating her. Was it because she was angry because Michael left? Was that why? I don't know if it was going on before he left. He said he noticed the odd thing, but nothing, obviously, if he'd have noticed anything major. So it really ramped up when they broke up, really ramped up. What, did she look too much like him? You know, we've said that can be sometimes a reason. Could she just not cope? I don't know. I don't know. You can't even say she was really young, because she wasn't. She wasn't. She was in her 20s. She wasn't a child. And then they tried to blame the fact that she's not the brightest spark in the box. No, none of it. None of the excuses that were given at the trial wash at all. Not with me, and luckily not with the jury. So that was the devastating Aniya Day-Garrett story. Oh, I want to do this every week because it's just, that poor little girl. I'm sorry I haven't been looking at your comments or anything. I just, it's just, oh, okay, did she pop in? Sorry if you're watching tomorrow. Like I say, it is a live, so I am responding to some of the messages. Yeah, oh God, just a horrible woman. Horrible woman. If you do get the chance to watch the interrogation, even if you just watch the mum, you don't even need, I mean, I think the mum's is about 3 hours long. Yes, I do that. I do that. I do sit and watch things for like hours and hours and hours at a time. But yeah, hers is about 3 hours. I think his is about 2.5 hours long. And then obviously then you've got the trial. But she's very convincing though. So this whole, she's dopey, she's stupid. She even says in the interrogation, yes, I'm very intelligent. So you don't normally get an intelligent person saying that, admittedly, but she was very, very, very convincing. Because when I was getting this story together, for the longest part of it, I still thought for a while she'd been at Red Lobster. I thought that had happened for a while when I'm starting to think, oh, you know, I might get this together, and that, you know, maybe it was a hiding she got that caused the stroke, and it had all been quite a quick end. I thought it was over those 4 days. I knew about the previous bruises and everything. I knew about that, but what I mean is that last 4 days, I thought that's what it was. But it wasn't. That didn't happen. None of that happened. It was all a lie. She'd been in her bed for, from what I can work out, from everything I've looked at, because there's a lot of lies and a lot of chopping and changing and everything else. I think, given the fact that her brother had been there in the February, so that's at least a month, okay? And the coroner had said, or the medical examiner, he says it would have had to have been between 2 weeks and 3 months. So now we know it was a month. Had she been in that bed for 3 months? Had she been in that bed just after Christmas, during Christmas? When did she stop being able to walk? Because we're certainly not getting that out of Deontay or Sierra. I don't know why he didn't just own up. I don't know why he didn't just start telling the truth, but he didn't. He defended her to the hilt. Whether he believed everything she'd been saying, I just don't know. I'm not too sure. But it's not that he didn't seem the brightest spark. I don't know if he was infatuated or what. I don't know. I'm not too sure why he stood by her like he did. But now he's paying for 20 years, and a poor little girl has lost her life. It said she would have been in agony. It said she would have been in agony. That's the the devastating Aniya Day-Garrett story. How are we? How are we all? How do you feel? It's just awful, isn't it? It's just horrible. Let me have a look at the comments. Let me see if I can see. I did see someone mention a story up here that I hadn't heard. It just caught my eye. Kaylee Titford, if you've heard of that one. What one's that one then? Oh, is that the one, Phil, where they've got the sofa? Is that the one where she was left to just rotting on the sofa? She was just left there, wasn't she? Like she was in her teenage years, was she? Is that the one? If that's the one, that's, yeah, awful. Don't know too much about it other than the, the pictures and everything that I saw. But if it's not, then I'll have another look. But is that the one? Is anyone still here? Are you all still here? I don't know if everyone's still here. But you have to be here because I have to do my jingle. Have you left me for my jingle? Have you all gone? If you've gone, maybe I'm still going to do my jingle though. Tiffany's not going to stop me. Yes, I am going to do my jingle. That's what I'm going to do, Tiffany, because we need to at the end of it. We need to. I've been told I have to cut it down to about 30 seconds, if that. Has everyone gone? I think they have, haven't they? Well, I'll do it for you then. You have to. See, she tried to lie, Warwick. She tried to say you'd all gone. But I was going to do it anyway. I was going to do my jingle anyway. So, there we go. Can't stop me. Can't stop me doing it. So, see, can't stop me. Can't stop the jingle. You can't stop it happening. So, if you're here still, and you're still watching even tomorrow, then, yes, okay. So, if you're watching tonight, and you put a like, if you do, it all gets wiped. So could you, yes, Hayley, dance time. Oosh. What was that? See, you got me all excited with the musical notes. And no one will see it tomorrow. That's the worst thing. So they're just going to see this. It's just, yes. Oh, see, Tiffany, I thought you lied. I thought you said they were all gone. But I was still going to do it anyway. Okay, so if you're watching tomorrow, could you put a like? No, that's my jingle. So if you're watching tonight, and after this gets published, could you please go in and put a like? I'd really appreciate it because it really matters. Oh, yes, Ariane's still here, Warwick's still here, Tiffany's still here, Hayley's still here, Phil's still here. She was in a wheelchair, but when she got too big for it, so she was then left in bed to basically start. Right, okay, I'll have a look at that one, Phil. I don't know that one. But Phil's still here. See, they're all still here. See. Okay. Right. Okay. So, yes, could you go in and pop a like? And if you're watching tomorrow, or now, if you are still on, could you please like, comment, and subscribe, please? What was that noise? Oh, that wasn't human. I don't know what that noise was. Right, okay, I've got a stitch. I've actually got a stitch. Oh, this is terrible. Okay, that's the worst one. Like, comment, and subscribe, please. I think it's when I do that. I make the noise, don't I? Look, comment and subscribe, please. Oh, Phil, I'll definitely have a look. I'll have a look. I didn't realise. I'll have a look. Because I do like the way Emma does it. I love Emma. But yes, so like, comment, subscribe. Look, Kelly. Kelly's still here too. Got red in the face then as well. I stopped breathing. For a second. I got really. Okay, look, comment, subscribe, please. There we go. But thank you all so much for joining me. I really appreciate it. I genuinely do every week. I you know what? You's all here. You're always here, and it's just amazing. It really is. I love seeing you, Ariane and Warwick and Phil and Kelly and Hayley and Tiff, who are my little admin. See you being sport in case you had a stroke. Stop that. You can't. See what she did. See. Oh, no. But I did get a stitch, mind. I did get a stitch. It's terrible. Kelly, thank you all so much. And night to everyone. Look at the roses. Look at the roses. Rose. Look, comment, subscribe, please. I have to look at this the next day. And it's just, I just shake my head. I'm like, Jess, why? But it's different live because it's like, ooh, there's the roses. There's the roses. The arms have got. It's a good job. My elbow feels much better, so it's a good job, really. Otherwise, I'm gonna hurt it again. Right. Have a fantastic weekend. It's a sweet sister, aren't they? Yes, you are. You are. But Tiffany doesn't. Phil, she doesn't. Towards the end, she doesn't support anymore. She doesn't like the jingle. She's not supportive of the jingle. But it's okay because we are. Like, comment, subscribe, please. You can really see my chin when I do it as well. Right, I'm going. Have a fantastic weekend, all. And yeah, I will see you all next Thursday at 8 o'clock. Take care. Like, comment, subscribe, please. Bye. I've got to start. Take care, everyone.